Happy Valentine's Day! Because it was Valentine's Day week, I thought I'd share with you how the theory of soulmates began. Today we will discuss, first, who came up with the idea of soulmates. Next, in what writing was the story of soulmates told? Then, what the original of soulmates is. Much of the information I'm going to share with you today came from Plato's dialogue titled Symposium. So, who came up with the idea behind soulmates? Plato was the person who shared a story that has led to the idea of soulmates as we know today. Plato was a Greek philosopher, born around 428 BCE. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, he was the founder of the Academy, an academic program that many consider to be the first Western university, and is one of history's most influential philosophers. Unlike many of his predecessors' works, Plato's entire body of work has survived intact for over 2,400 years. One of those bodies of work was his text called Symposium, which is where he describes what we now call the soulmate. Symposium is a fictional story written in dialogue form from the viewpoint of notable men at a banquet. These characters take turns composing speeches about love for Eros, the god of love and desire. Although the story itself is fiction, the characters used in Plato's Symposium are real. As described by William S. Cobb in the introduction of his translations of Plato's work, the Symposium is one of Plato's major works and is appreciated for both its philosophical content and its literary qualities. Now, there is some debate about whether or not the text should be studied as a drama or an exploration of philosophical ideas. Nonetheless, the story contains a dialogue spoken by Greek philosopher Aristophanes and his theory of what we now call soulmates. In the story, Symposium, Aristophanes explains that originally there were three kinds of humans: male, female, and a combination of the two. The male kind was an offspring of the sun, the female an offspring of the earth, and the one that was a combination of the two was an offspring of the moon. Humans did not appear as they do now. Instead, they were a spherical shape with 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces on opposite sides of the head. Because of this, they were powerful and strong. Eventually, they made an ascent to heaven by climbing Mount Olympus and tried to attack the gods. This obviously upset Zeus, but he didn't know what to do. They didn't want to kill the humans because humans worshiped the gods and made sacrifices to them. This is when he came up with the idea to split the humans in 2 because they would be weaker apart than together. After the humans were split apart, one half longed for the other. The female humans split in 2, long for their female halves. The male humans split in 2, long for their male halves. And the androgynous humans split in 2, long for their other halves. That is where the idea of soulmates comes from. Plato writes, "Love is born into every human being. It calls back the halves of our original nature. It tries to make one out of 2 and heal the wounds of human nature. And so, when a person meets the half that is his very own, something wonderful happens. The 2 are struck from their senses by love, by a sense of belonging to one another, and by desire, and they don't want to be separated from one another, not even for a moment." So now you know who came up with the idea of soulmates, in what writing was the story of soulmates told, and finally, the original idea behind soulmates. And that is the story of soulmates. No matter if you've located the other half or not, I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day.